Good evening, all you sim race fans out there, and welcome to the BRL TV's coverage of the Bootleg Racing League Sportsman Series. I am Ryan Seneker, and with me up in the booth is Virtual Grip's own Matt Hoos. I'm going to do live from the virtual Myrtle Beach Speedway, and we're going to be bringing you all the action this Saturday night, July 8th, 2023. Located in Southern Carolina, this track holds a special place in the hearts of racing enthusiasts. With a history dating back to 1958, this iconic half-mile oval has become a popular destination for drivers and fans alike. The unique shape and challenging corners make it a true test of skill for the drivers here tonight. The all-new BRL Sportsman Series runs a heat format and has a rotating car schedule, meaning the drivers will swap between the Legends, the Street Stocks, and the SK Mods each week. This week, they're running the Street Stocks. Unlike the other series in the BRL, the Sportsman Series has a 5-minute, 4-lap average qualifying session, which will set your grid for the heats. Speaking of those heats, they each have 15 laps. However many heats it is to break up the entire field, 15 laps per heat, followed by a 15-lap B main consolation race. And then after that, we begin the 50-lap feature event. Caution laps will not count in any of those events. And as with all the BRL series this season, there are no faster pairs. It is very much a you break it, you buy it situation for these drivers. And lastly, points are only awarded for these drivers in the feature event. If they don't make the feature, they're going home with a big old goose egg for this week. And now, with all those formalities out of the way, welcome again to Myrtle Beach Speedway, where the past meets the present and the passion of motorsports, even simulated, fills the air. The Bootleg Racing League is set to deliver thrills, drama, and wheel-to-wheel action as these skilled drivers push their machines to the limit of this legendary track. Now, let me hand it over to my booth mate, Matt Hoos. Matt, what can we expect to see here tonight?
Well, Ryan, good as always to be here with you and the people out there watching. Tonight's going to be a good race. I love these Saturday night deals that we got going on now with the heat races. It adds a whole new dimension to it when you're talking inversions and no fast repairs and trying to make it into the feature race, and it just adds a whole new dynamic to this Saturday night.
It really does. It's nice to shake up the format once in a while, and this is definitely shaking it up with the heats, the qualifying, which these drivers are not used to. I think we tried that for a few seasons ago, where we actually did qualifying, and that didn't stick. But the drivers seem to like this one because they're out in force. We have currently 16, 17, 18, 19 cars out qualifying right now, with James Tiernan running the top time, a 20.669.
And now to talk qualifying with these guys are doing a 4-lap average for qualifying. So obviously you're taking your laps of 4 average, but if you hit the wall or do anything like that or spin out or whatever, your times don't count, and you're going to be starting at the back of your heat races.
Yeah, very much so. You need 4 clean laps or none of your times are going to be worth anything. So right now you see J.R. Shepard whipping by the camera. All right, a little hiccup there. I thought maybe we lost connection. We're still here. J.R. Shepard just finished his lap times of C, and of course J.R. jumps straight to the top, almost beating Tiernan by a whole tenth of a second. That is lightning fast. Kenny Kibbe sits in third, Menda fourth, and Chris Davis top 5 in qualifying.
Yeah, you see these lap times. It don't surprise us any to see JR up on top. But as we know, these hot laps, show-off laps, whatever you want to call them, they don't matter a lot when you get into the race. You got to try to work your way around traffic, and it's all part of the fun.
Yeah, and after last night's Street Stock Series, I'm going to keep my eye on Chris Davis because I think that is his race pace. That man was full out from beginning to end, all 50 laps. I don't think he lifted once. He was the only driver to give J.R. Shepard a headache all night long.
Yeah, Chris has a promising outcome at this track. This is one of the tracks that he seems to be strong at. He showed that last night.
All right, and the drivers are starting to grid up for the first heat race. Looks like we have a 10-car heat, starting with Steve Hilbert on the pole, Chris Hazlip to his outside. Then you have John Wilson and Joe Segala in row number 2. Row 3 is Todd Liston and Nathan Guilford. Row 4, Matt Chinoski and Chris Davis. That's the driver to keep an eye on. And rounding out the 10 cars is Kenny Kibbe and J.R. Shepard. Kenny Kibbe and J.R. Shepard in the same heat. That'll shake things up for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be. I think I saw Hilbert just get a EOL for this one. He must not have laid down a qualifying lap.
Oh, yeah. If you did not put all 4 of your lap times in, then you are shuffled to the back. So expect to see, I believe they'll put John Wilson up to the pole.
That should be good for John. He's a smooth runner, and if he can get the pole and get the clean air out in front of him, he's got a chance to win this heat race.
Yeah, John has gotten faster and faster with every season with the BRL. He came to us as a dirt racer and was accomplished there. And since we've done away with the dirt, he stayed with us to join the asphalt. And yet you see Hilbert drop into the back there. But John Wilson has gotten faster every season, and he is a serious contender in this series. John Wilson moves over the pole. That puts Todd Liston up into third. Good spot for Todd to start. It's going to be a struggle for Chris Hazlip and Joe Segala to get down to that inside quickly before they could just lose all their spots. Because not far behind, you got Matt Chinoski, also very fast, Kenny Kibbe, Chris Davis, and J.R. Shepard all in this heat.
Yeah, this has the making of a good heat race here. I think we're going to see some action.
Wilson leads him around one final time. The pace car has pulled off as Wilson pulls into turn number 3. Waiting. When is he going to get on the loud pedal? And there's a jump for Wilson, a strong jump for Wilson. He screams out ahead of the rest of the field. Liston trying to close the door on Hazlett before he can come down, and there's Joe Segala stuck up top looking for an opening, but Matt Chinoski is not going to let him down. And directly behind Chinoski, there is Kenny Kibbe, already up several spots from where he started. Looks like the potential of a 3-wide situation here as they try to split Chris Hazlett. Segala high, Chinoski low, and Kenny Kibbe gets caught up in it. Makes contact with Segala, they straighten it back out, and they continue to run. But unfortunately, that brings, and as I said, we see Chris Davis going around, Segala going around, and Hilbert going around.
Oh, no. Yeah, that was a long wreck waiting to happen.
Yeah, all those checkups one after another, and it was bound to spit a car out sooner or later, and it looks like Chris Davis was that car. There you see the checkup ahead with Kibbe and Segala getting together. There's Chris Davis in the white number 7 trying to go low. I don't see what happened to... Oh, I think I see it. There comes Guilford trying to recover his car and nowhere to go. Came down. And poor Davis, he was just an innocent bystander running his line, and he couldn't avoid. Didn't even see it coming.
Yeah, that situation there was nothing Chris could do, and Nathan was just trying to save his car.
Yeah, and then Hilbert trying to dodge that incident got into Joe Segala, and all 3 of them back of the field. Not where you want to be on such a short heat.
No, remember these top 6 out of this advance directly to the feature, so your top 6 is where you want to watch.
Yep, top 6 go straight to the feature. Everyone else to the B main consolation. All drivers will go to the feature, but this will set the grid for the feature, so you don't want to be at the back of a heat. You don't want to be back at the consolation. You want to do the best you can to have the best start.
Yeah, we run these heat races, and then if you have to go to the consi race or the last chance race or whichever you want to call it, you will be starting like Ryan says, but you're going to be starting towards the rear of the feature. So these heat races are really where you're trying to get your starting spot for the features.
Yeah, with these cars in such a large field, being at the back, yeah, it's 50 laps. It may seem like a long race, but it's really not in these cars. These laps click off quick. So trying to make up 20 some odd positions in 50 laps is a big ask of most of these drivers. Cars are doubled back up 2 by 2 as the pace car leads them down the back stretch. John Wilson still your leader. Good run from John so far. Wilson gets on the loud pedal on that Team CDR machine as he skirts off ahead again. Nice start from Wilson. Liston slots into second with Chris Hazlip still holding on to third. Under a lot of pressure from Shanoski looking high and Kibbe looking low. J.R. Shepard running behind them, just waiting to see which line prevails. Looks like a little contact with Hazlip and Shanoski. Shanoski got loose. Still trying to save it. He is able to recover. Nice job from Shanoski to save that car.
As long as he's still going the right direction, he's still got a chance.
Shepard got to the inside of Kibbe. Now those two run 2 by 2. You got Kibbe and Shepard. Then right behind them you have Chris Hazlip and Nathan Guilford. And there in the popcorn position, the unlucky few. Here's Segala, Davis, and Hilbert, who were caught in that incident earlier. And I'm afraid they're just stuck where they are until one of these lines prevails. There's nowhere to go for any of those drivers.
Yes, one thing about this track is the outside line will work. For a couple laps, you can hold it out there. Eventually, the inside will take it, but you can hold up traffic for a couple laps racing side by side here.
Yep. There's Kibbe in the black and white number 14, continuing to battle back from the outside, showing great skill, able to keep up with J.R. Shepard from the unpreferred line. Shepard looking to the inside of John Wilson, but not quite getting his nose all the way up to Wilson yet, as Wilson shuts the door back on him. Todd Liston taking advantage of this entire situation, skirting off to a half-second lead over Wilson as they battle back or further in the pack. All right, Shepard got to the inside of Wilson, quickly cleared around the front, and Kibbe dove low to try to follow suit as Nathan Guilford caught up to I'm going to call it our leading battle, with Chris Davis already through traffic and looking to get back to the front.
You know what I'm really surprised about is watching these cars during practice. You're seeing them get loose a lot, but during the heat race here, I don't know if they've calmed down a little bit or the track's changed a little bit, but they seem to be a little bit more under control here during these races.
Well, I think typically in practice, you'll see these guys with a little less care and concern on how they run because they want to see what this car can do. They need to find those limits. So when they are in a racing situation, they know exactly how far they can push the car safely and still be controllable as J.R. Shepard moves into the lead, getting around Todd Liston, with Kenny Kibbe moving up into second. Now, Liston might be in trouble. If he can't tuck down in front of Wilson, he might get strung out. As I say that, he does clear ahead of Wilson. Wilson back to fourth. Guilford rounding out your top five.
See, the way this will work is Kenny's not just going to sit there if he can. He's going to try to get ahead of JR because even though he will make the feature, right now JR and the winner of the next heat race, if we have three, I'm not sure how many heat races we're going to have, but the winners will start first in the front row, and then second will be behind them, and so on. So one spot does make a big difference.
Oh, very much so, yes. But I would say Kibbe's probably thinking it is the heat. He's already guaranteed into third place right now. I think there's going to be 2 heats. So he's guaranteed third or fourth place start for sure. And at this point, do you risk it? You know, it's one of those high risk, high reward kind of situations. Do you risk to going after the lead and potentially lose it altogether and fall to the back? Or do you just take your second place and move on to the feature?
We say that, but I'm not sure if Kenny's got anything for JR because we know JR's history.
Yeah, it looks like JR is stretching out as the white flag does come out in this first heat. JR has almost a 0.4 of a second lead over Kenny Kibbe. I'm not sure Kibbe has anything left for him. But I'm most impressed with Todd Liston. He led for a while, got away from Wilson, and since JR and Kibbe have gotten around him, Liston has stayed right on their bumper.
Yeah, he had a good race.
There you see J.R. Shepard, Kenny Kibbe, Todd Liston, John Wilson, Nathan Guilford, and Chris Davis all advanced directly to the feature. Now we get reset up for heat number 2, a 9-car heat. Leading this one to the green will be Brian Johnson of Texas Speed Sim Racing. To his outside will be Tom Hilbert. Row number 2 will consist of Bobby Hayes and Ed Reynolds. Row number 3, Bruce Pearson and Lowell Jewell, the boss man. Row 4, Jeffrey Harden and Jason Menda. And rounding out the 9-car field is the always fast James Tiernan.
Yeah, be looking in this one for Tiernan to be coming through the field. And also Menda's been pretty fast in practice too, and qualifying obviously. So we'll got another good race lined up here.
Looks like we have another EOL. Brian Johnson dropped to the back. He must not have put down a qualifying time.
No, he has seen that. He missed, or he must have touched the wall or something.
That puts Bobby Hayes, a fistful of water, on the pole. Nice paint scheme from Bobby. I haven't seen him in a while. It's good to see him back out on track. He's another one of our long-lost dirt drivers. Very fast guy. Good to see him. Also, a car to keep your eye on is the 36 of Jeffrey Harden. He is last season's street stock champion, so you know he knows how to handle this car.
Yeah, this is a loaded heat race full of talent here.
Bruce Pearson of the 22, another one who did really well last night at this track. As you see, Bobby Hayes skirt off to a strong lead off the jump. Pearson quickly taking second place away. And following behind them, there is Reynolds looking to strand Hilbert to the outside. And already up 4 spots just like that. That is Jeffrey Harden in the black and gold number 36. Another big mover. There you see the 03 of Tiernan. He's just skating right through the field like they're not even there. Bruce Pearson in control of the field. Bobby Hayes fell back to 4th. Tiernan up 6 spots now, closing quickly on our leaders. I will say, as we spoke of high risk, high reward in the last heat, I will say of James Tiernan, he is a risk it all kind of driver, and I love that about him. He will stick his nose wherever it'll fit and see what happens. He's always exciting to watch. Bruce Pearson still doing a great job holding those 2 drivers off. You see Harden looking low, but not able to completely close the gap. I think he might have it going into turn 1. Yep, he gets a nose to the inside. But at what cost? As you saw how hot he came into that corner. And that allowed Tiernan to get right up to his bumper.
Yeah, Harden's getting loose, especially on exit. You can tell he's driving that thing for all it's worth.
Well, I'm sure he has one eye on the relative. He watched James Tiernan just carve this field in half, getting to the front, and he knows what's coming. He's just trying to get as much distance out front as he can before Tiernan gets to him. Tiernan takes a very shallow entry, almost got a nose to the inside, but Harden was able to hold him off. But that gap is completely gone. It is 1 car length between them, with Bruce Pearson back to 3rd. We are halfway through this heat. So far, so good. You see Tiernan getting very loose there, making contact with them turtles. And he takes the lead away from Jeffrey Harden just like that. I don't know how he made contact with those turtles and didn't lose the car himself, but good driving from James Tiernan.
Yeah, those turtles in 1 and 2, them things will jump out and bite you. So to hang on to that after that, he did a good job.
Hey, he hung on to it and made a pass during it. That was some impressive driving. But he did not walk away from Jeffrey Harden like I thought he might. Harden is right there challenging to take that lead back.
Looks like Menda's come up to 4th. He's making a run for it.
Yeah, Jason Menda, see him in the gray and red number 45. He is up 4 spots from where he started. A good run from Menda. As of right now, Tiernan, Harden, Pearson, Menda, Hayes, and Jewell will advance directly to the feature. Got a little side-by-side action in the back. That's the 58 of Reynolds and the 61 of Hilbert, battling for what would be 7th place. Neither one advancing straight to the feature from that spot, but they're just fighting for a better starting spot in the consolation.
I think we're pretty much strung out here. As you can see, everybody just running single file. I don't think we're going to see much passing going on here in the last few laps here.
No, the top 4 are all split equally, 4/10 between each car, ironically. Well, like you said at the start, this heat was stacked with a lot of great driving talent, and this is what can happen when you have that many talented drivers all running together. Their pace is their pace, so they can all chase each other, but none of them are gonna get around the other one. White flag is out. Tiernan has a strong hold of the lead, half a second at this point, as he comes out of turn 2 down the back stretch. And really, to no one's surprise up here in the booth, here comes James Tiernan to come around and take the checkered flag. With Jeffrey Harden holding on to 2nd, Bruce Pearson 3rd, Jason Menda 4th, Bobby Hayes 5th, and Lowell Jewell rounding out the top 6, advancing directly to the feature. Reynolds, Hilbert, and Johnson will be off to the B main consolation.
That was a good run for all these guys. Caution-free heat race.
That's what I like to see. Cautions just kill the action. I want to see it go green. Alright, as the drivers pull back out on track for the B main consolation, let us take you through the 7-car grid. We have Steve Hilbert on the pole with Brian Johnson to his outside. Then you have Matt Chanowski and Tom Hilbert in row number 2, Chris Hazlip, Ed Reynolds in row 3, and Joe Segala rounding out the 7-car field. Again, this will be another 15-lap race. Cautions will not count. And all 7 drivers will advance to the 50-lap feature after this. At this point, they are battling for a start position in that feature. That paint scheme on the 00 of Brian Johnson is really reminiscent of old school Dale Earnhardt. All it's missing is a Goodwrench logo on the hood.
Yeah, this is going to be a good race here.
I would not be surprised to see Joe Segala making moves early. You know he has the speed, but he's also kind of a magnet for trouble. He never causes it, but he always ends up in it. So I think he's going to be the one to watch as he works his way through this pack. All right, Hilbert's on the loud pedal. Brian Johnson strung out as Matt Chanowski quickly moves up into 2nd. Behind them, they are 2 by 2. That's Johnson and Hazlip. And then behind them, Hilbert, and there he is, Joe Segala, already moving up through the field. Segala moves up to 4th, now behind Chris Hazlip. Hazlip has shown a lot of speed in this car this season. I'm actually kind of impressed to see what he can do.
Yeah, he has picked up his pace. He's last few weeks, he's been getting better and better, showing signs of good improvement.
Looks like Chanowski's looking to the inside of Hilbert. Both cars getting a little loose coming out of turn 4. And Shinowski is going to walk away with the lead, putting Hilbert back to second. And we do have a caution on the track. Looks like something happened with Brian Johnson. Let's see if we can pull that up. There you see the black 00 right there in front of the 58 of Ed Reynolds. Coming into turn 1 and 2. Oh, looks like he just lost the rear of the car. And there's not much Reynolds can do. Made contact and sent him the rest of the way around.
And for those keeping score, Segala was not caught up in it.
Yeah, that's actually a very valid point. Segala was not involved. Well, that's a tough break for Johnson. He'll be starting again from the back of this field. He is still running, so no significant damage. He's still on track.
And just for those thinking I'm picking on Segala, I'm not. He's a great guy. He's a great talent, but he just has rotten luck.
Oh yeah, we always joke around with Joe, and he jokes right back saying he's the only guy who can get struck by lightning on a clear and sunny day. So Joe knows the luck he has on the track.
And also, just to point out, cautions in this are counting, I believe, in this last chance. Maybe they are not. I can't remember at this point.
No, they shouldn't be counting. If you're looking at the overlay, it takes a minute to refresh and realize that it didn't count before it resets. So we will be going green still on lap number 4.
Yeah, see, this format's even new to me. I forget that the caution laps don't count on this series.
Lights are off on the pace car. The cars will double back up and get ready to go again. When the green flag comes out, they'll be starting lap number 4 of 15. As of yet, and I hope I don't jinx this, but as of yet, this has been a relatively clean night so far. We've had just the 2 cautions, and one of them was a self-spin. So it's been a pretty clean run so far. Alright, Shinowski comes around turn 4. I expect him to have an early jump. And there it is, gets on that loud pedal, quickly clears ahead of Hilbert and Hazlip as they are stuck battling it out amongst themselves. Hilbert goes way high, allowing Hazlip to get a nose ahead, and that opens the door for Joe Segala to tuck in and just leave Hilbert stranded up top. Oh, Steve Hilbert was able to battle back from the outside. Great move from Hilbert. The 52 defends second place successfully, as Hazlip doesn't seem to have anything for him right now. And as I say that, Hazlip made me a liar, because he just got his nose right back in there again. And as this battle goes on, you know Joe is getting impatient. He wants to go, and he has the pace to do it. But as long as they battle side by side, there is nothing Joe can do, as Steve Hilbert clears back into second, and Segala instantly goes low under Hazlip.
Yeah, I think what was happening is Hazlip was getting into the corner too hard, and so then he would have to back off, which would leave Hilbert to get the run off.
See, Hilbert go way up the track on that one. His rear end was all over the place, fishtailing out of turn 2. That allowed Segala to get under him. Hazlip tucked back into 4th.
That was an excellent save by Hilbert.
Yeah, usually when these street stocks start to fishtail, there's not much you can do about it, but no, Steve got her back under him, and he's continuing to run, holding on to 3rd. We are now halfway through the consolation. Segala up to 2nd place. Matt Shinowski has checked out. He has a large gap between himself and Segala. Segala cleared into second. Hazlitt's holding on to third. And back further, you have a battle of the Hilberts. Steve to the outside. Tom looking to the inside. And behind them, Ed Reynolds in the 58. Oh, it looked like there was going to be contact there between the brothers as Steve got a little loose and came down the track unexpectedly, but luckily Tom was able to back out of it. Hazlip still keeping pace with Scala, keeping the pressure up. There is almost 3 seconds ahead of Segala to get to Shinowski, though, so I'm pretty sure Shinowski is just set to cruise control at this point. He's just checking off laps.
Yeah, I think at this point, Segala just needs to try to do what he can do to hang on to second and move on to the feature.
And the brothers continue to battle. That's Tom in the white number 61, Steve in the green and yellow number 52. Tom keeps getting to the inside and keeps having to back out as they both get loose over and over again. This car is notoriously loose, and this track is definitely not the best combination, because this track is loose in most cars.
Yeah, you know, I wonder what happens if in the Hilbert family there, if somebody wipes out the other one. It's not like you can just log off for the night and carry on. You're going to hear about it all week.
Well, yeah, I guess there's no week-long cooldown period. You're going to see and hear about it all week long leading up to the next event. And Hazlip has gotten a great run. Looking to the inside of Segala. Might actually be able to steal it away as we go to the final lap. Well, looks like Segala successfully closed that door. And here's Machinowski coming out turn 4 to take the checkered flag. Joe Segala, Chris Hazlip, Steve Hilbert, Tom Hilbert, Ed Reynolds, and Brian Johnson as they come across the line. All right, and with that, the drivers will now get a 5-minute warm-up session just to see how the track has changed since the last time they were on it for some of them who advanced straight from the first and second heats. So while we have a moment, let's dial up Joe Segala. Let's see how Joe's feeling tonight. Hey, Joe, it's Ryan up in the booth. You got a copy?
Got you loud and clear.
Hey, tough luck in the heat, but a great recovery in the consolation. What's your plans going into this 50-lap feature?
To be honest, I'm not sure. Just hoping to stay out of trouble for it, really. We'll see what kind of finish I get at the end.
Now, did you have your crew chief remove the trouble magnet that you always have in your hood?
He was supposed to. That heat, though, I think he forgot to.
Yeah, rough luck. You were just wrong place, wrong time. Like, that's the story of your life, Joe. So,
Pretty
yeah.
much.
Now, the fuel situation, it's another 50-lap feature here, and caution laps not counting. Was the fuel situation fixed from last night?
Yes, it was. We definitely got plenty of fuel. Every race tonight, whether it's been a heat race or consolation race, the cars had 22 gallons in it. So no worry about fuel tonight.
Oh, perfect. You'll definitely make it. All right, Joe. Best of luck to you, and we'll be watching you.
All right, thank you.
That was Joe Segala, loose lugs. I'd be really interested to see what he can do tonight because he's not a slow driver by any means.
No, he's not. And that is really interesting what he said with them having 22 gallons of fuel. That could contribute to some of the looseness that we're seeing here tonight with the back end of these cars being so heavy.
Oh, definitely. With all the extra weight in the back, that would explain why so many drivers are fishtailing out of the corners. They weren't ready for all that weight back there. And just for a little context for everyone watching at home, last night the Street Stocks ran 50 laps at Myrtle Beach, but they had just enough fuel to make it. A couple of them didn't have enough fuel to make it. I think J.R. Shepard said when he crossed the line to take the checkered flag, he had 0.1 gallons remaining in the car. So tonight, with caution laps not counting, that could be a real problem if they had the same amount of fuel.
Yeah, I think we're safe. Last night, I know JR was saying that he figured out they were short of fuel, so he was kind of minding his fuel. So tonight that will not be in effect, so we should see these guys all running as hard as they can from the start of this thing.
We have roughly 2 minutes of warm-up remaining. Let's see. Let's talk to another driver. Let's bring up Jason Menda. Jason Menda, it's Ryan up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
So I know this season and last season it's been an all-out, put the foot down and get to the front strategy. Is that pretty much what you're taking into the feature tonight?
Absolutely.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. How is the car feeling? We were just talking about how they topped you off on fuel so they won't have the issue we had last night. Is that adding to the looseness of the car?
Yeah, I think so. The added weight in the back makes it a little bit more squirrely.
Yeah, we see a number of drivers just fishtailing around the corners, and that would definitely not help the situation. So what do you think your all chances are tonight of making, I'd say, a podium?
I have no idea. I'm probably going to burn the right rear off of this thing, so I don't know. We'll see what happens.
All right, Jason. Well, good luck tonight, and thanks for talking to us.
Thanks, Ryan.
Jason Menda with Thunder Ridge Racing. I love that we can talk to the drivers. A lot of insight I wouldn't normally have. Because honestly, I could sit up here and talk until I'm blue in the face, but who would know better about how the track feels tonight than the people on the track tonight?
Yeah, you can go out and warm up or do some little practice laps and kind of get a rough feel of it. But as the night progresses, with iRacing's system here, the track will change as we go out throughout the night. So it's from each heat race to this final feature event, the track changes, and so does your grip level.
All right, and then we're about to wrap up the warm-up, and to no surprise, J.R. Shepard put down the fastest time. But again, like we always say, that's the ego sheet. It really doesn't mean anything when the racing starts. If I can make a quick prediction, Matt, I think we're going to see a shootout between Shepard, Tiernan, and Kibbe for that checkered flag in the end.
I'm going to say that's a safe bet. We got some other fast guys in the field, but they're always the odds-on favorite. But a lot can happen.
All right, now the cars are starting to grid up. Let me take you through the 19-car grid. On the pole is J.R. Shepard with Different Path Motorsports. James Tiernan, his big rival, to his outside, Elbows Up Simsport. Behind them, Kenny Kibbe, all three already up front. This will be interesting. And Jeffrey Harden to the outside. Row number 3 will be Todd Liston and Bruce Pearson. Row 4, John Wilson and Jason Menda, who we just spoke to. Row number 5 is Nathan Guilford and Bobby Hayes. Row 6, Chris Davis and Lowell Jewell, the boss man. Row 7, Matt Chanowski and Joe Segala, we spoke with earlier. Row 8, Chris Hazlett and Steve Hilbert. Row 9, Tom Hilbert and Ed Reynolds. And rounding out the 19-car field is Brian Johnson. Johnson had a rough heat and a rough consolation. Let's hope he can have a little better luck for this feature.
Yeah, this is a excuse me. This is a 50-lap race or 30 minutes, whichever happens first. I know last week we ran into that 30-minute clock, so hopefully we can get all 50 in this week.
Yeah, that'd be nice. It's not really fun calling a race that ends on time. That's like having your race called for rain. Just not a good feeling.
But for those wondering why we set it for time is because we got to make sure we're done in time for our late model race, which comes up next.
Yeah, this is not the only broadcast tonight. Immediately after this one will be the late model series over on Virtual Grip Network. So make sure you catch that one next. Nice start from J.R. Shepard. Tiernan following from the outside. and trying to get down, but there is Kenny Kibbe, who blocked his path, would not let him down, and now Tiernan is strung out with Todd Liston to his inside. I wonder if that's something Shepard and Kibbe worked out before the race. There's been some animosity between Shepard and Tiernan over the season.
Yeah, JR wanted a little safety cushion between them.
It didn't last long. Tiernan is already looking to the inside of Kenny Kibbe and has J.R. Shepard in his sights. We'll see if Kibbe can battle back from the outside as he did during the heat. Further back, you can see on the camera, most of the cars are single filed out. Not a whole lot of battling going on in the early stages. And that little bit of battling with Kenny Kibbe allowed J.R. Shepard to pull away to 0.6 of a second over Tiernan.
There's a battle going on for 6 there, it looks like 6 or 7.
You see a battle for 8th between, or 7th, yeah, Guilford, Pearson, and Davis all getting involved. Matt Shinowski waiting for an opening from behind. We'll see if Chris Davis lives up to his nickname, Mr. Aggressive, because recently he hasn't been. He's been more patient than what we'd expect.
Everybody's pretty much strung out right now. What you're watching right there is the best battle on the track. The guys up front are all single file.
Yeah, Tiernan took 0.2 out of that lead J.R. had, but J.R. still has a 0.4 second lead on him, so there's nothing going on up front quite yet. Pearson slid way up the corner. That allowed Shinowski to get to his inside, and you saw Chris Davis get loose and save it. Nice recovery from Chris, as it looks like his right rears are already getting mad at him. Kenny Kibbe starting to put the pressure back to Tiernan. Caught back up, almost making contact with the bumper, letting Tiernan know that he's still there and he wants that spot back. As we have our first caution 8 laps in. Looks like something happened with Chris Hazlip. Oh, and Ed Reynolds. Let's pull this up. You see Reynolds getting really loose. Oh, contact with the front wall, or the inside wall.
I think we had 2 wrecks there in the same...
Yeah, I think there were multiple things happening all at once. If anything, the caution probably came out from Reynolds going so slow on the racing surface. But let's see what happened to Hazlip. You see Hazlip in the red, number 93, behind Joe Segala. And similar, just lost the back end. All that fuel, it's coming back to bite him. Hazlip getting some pretty significant front end damage. But right about now, he's missing those fast repairs.
Yeah, that car got sideways on him and he tried to correct it. And it caught traction and shot straight to the wall. That's hard to recover from.
It's so easy to do that, to overcorrect in this car, because as soon as it gets grip, it just shoots in the opposite direction, and there's no saving it at that point.
He did a good job holding it up against the wall, though, because there was a few other cars behind him that he did not collect.
All right, J.R. Shepard still in command of your field. James Tiernan, Kenny Kibbe, Todd Liston, and Jeffrey Harden rounding out your top 5. The big mover right now is Matt Shinowski in the 31. He's up 4 spots, currently running in 9th. Well, we have Mo and Matt. Let me tell the viewers what we're doing here. What you're watching right now is the BRL TV. This is a broadcasting service aimed at giving up-and-coming commentators and directors, such as myself and Matt, a place to get their feet wet in the world of sim race broadcasting. If you've ever wondered what it's like to broadcast live races, you can get your chance right here with us without any pressure. All you gotta do, show up and talk. If you want to get in on the fun, just head over to bootlegracingleague.com and you can find out how.
Yep, been a lot of fun since I joined you up here. Started doing it for a few weeks now. I guess probably a month's worth of racing now, and gotten easier every time I've been up here.
Oh, the first time for sure. Yeah, I had some jitters, but now it's just, I just show up and talk. It's easy.
Sometimes when the field gets strung out, folks, it's a little hard to come up with something to talk about, but you just do your best.
That's where you just pick a driver you don't like and you poke fun at them. Lights in the pace car are off. Cars are doubling back up. J.R. Shepard, James Tiernan on your front row. Let's see if Shepard can get another good start ahead of Tiernan. Last time worked well with Kibbe jumping up to second the way he did. Not a great jump. It looked like Shepard tried to fake him out, and it didn't really work as well as it did the first time. But it did still work, with Kibbe getting up to second just as before, and Liston again looking to the inside.
That outside line going into one is just so hard. Oh, big crash.
Looks like something happened with Jeffrey Harden as the caution comes back out. That's a shame. It looked like Jason Menda was ramping up to do something impressive there, running the outside the way he was. All right, there's Harden in the number 36. Jason Menda to his outside. Nathan Guilford coming up from behind. And again, another driver losing it all on their own. Just that extra fuel weight is throwing these guys off.
Yeah, when you get into the corner, that back end wants to swing out with the fuel load back there, and so if you don't enter the corner right, the car wants to get loose in the center, and I think that's what some of these guys are running into.
And just like that, we are back under caution. Let's see if we can dial up another driver. Oh, let's talk to John Wilson. It's always fun talking to John. Mr. Wilson, it's Ryan up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Ryan. How's it going, buddy?
Not too bad. A kind of a rough start. You're kind of having a quiet run, but you're losing spots here and there. How's the run feeling for you right now?
Car feels pretty loose, but it's a lot of fun. It's a handful.
Yeah, we're hearing from everyone. The car is exceptionally loose with the extra fuel weight in the back. How's the track in general? Is it pretty good conditions?
Yeah, it seems pretty good. It's really hard to get by spots here, and everything's nice, tight racing, right?
All right, now you're going to be taking the green from the outside. What's your plan to get down ahead of Pearson, or are you going to try to tuck in ahead of Joe?
Hopefully there'll be a spot in either one of those places for me to try to stick this car.
Just wherever you can stop the bleeding. I like it. All right, John, I won't keep you going. Have a good race. We'll be watching, man.
Thanks, buddy.
John Wilson, our lone Canadian, out on the track tonight. J.R. Shepard still your leader. We have 9 laps completed. The green flag will come out starting lap 10. We still have roughly 21 minutes remaining on the time limit. We might make it if they clean it up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm hoping they can find some green flag running here. Nobody likes to see a race end under caution. Under time limit.
Yeah, definitely not. And I think if we get enough green flag laps together, Tiernan will have something for Shepard. It could make for a good battle. Here we are. Tiernan and Shepard in the front row as before. Kibbe running in third.
He's got to get this restart.
Yeah, Shepard likes to jump at different times, always trying to throw off the opposition, but last time Tiernan was not fooled. This time a better start for Shepard, but Tiernan's still able to get a nose to the outside. Kibbe blocking off any chance of him coming down. And now look at that, up the fourth. That is Jason Menda coming out of nowhere. He is up 3 spots from where he started.
Yeah, Menda's the guy to watch here. I think he's going to have something for them front 3 also.
Oh, as we see Todd Liston get real loose and save it. Coming out of turn 4 right ahead of Chris Davis. But unfortunately, someone further back did not save it as the caution flag has come back out again. Looks like this one is Thomas Hilbert. There's Hilbert in the white number 61. There's his brother just below him, Steve Hilbert. Contact between the brothers, just like we talked about before. And poor Harden, nowhere to go as they came down right on his nose. That is unfortunate for Harden. Just wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is a product of short track racing. There ain't a lot of times you can't avoid something on these smaller tracks.
I believe that's 3 cautions so far. We're 12 laps in. All drivers still running. 1 driver a lap down. That is Ed Reynolds in the 58. 1 lap down. And up front, you have the usual names: Shepard, Kibbe, Tiernan. You expect to see those names. You expect to see big things from them. Further back, some drivers to keep an eye on. The 45, Jason Menda, always fast, has that all or nothing mentality. Love that strategy. 2 cars back from him, you have Chris Davis in the white and pink number 7. Mr. Aggressive, you see it stamped right there on his bumper. Known for being an aggressive driver for high risk, high reward kind of style driving. But like I mentioned earlier, as of yet, so far this season, not a whole lot of risk. He's been more patient and reserved, but still fast. So he's worth keeping an eye on. Then you have Bruce Pearson, another driver, longtime driver in the BRL. Very fast driver. He's gotten faster and faster every season, and he's been a front contender the last season. So he's another one to keep an eye on in the 22. And Joe Segala, I got to give him a shout out. 3 incidents, 81 wasn't in them. Good job, Joe.
Right. Hey, some front 3 there, things kind of swapped a little bit. Tiernan's going to be starting right behind Shepard on this restart.
Yeah, that incident came out too quick. Tiernan didn't have time to regain second spot, so he'll be starting from 3rd, which is the better seat in the house, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he's going to stay right on JR's bumper, and so we're going to see a race pretty quick.
Yeah, I think this is the exact opposite of what JR wanted to see out of this. Lights should go off on the pace car this time by, and they do. Cars will double back up for 1 final pace lap. It'll be the start of lap 13 as the green flag comes back out. Now Kenny Kibbe stuck to the outside. Let's see how fast he can get down, or if he's going to lose a lot of spots. Early jump from Shepard as he gets on the loud pedal, clears out ahead of Kibbe without challenge. And that gives Tiernan an easy opportunity to get to the Kibbe's inside. Kibbe stuck high with Todd Liston right behind him as Jason Menda tries to keep that door closed. And here comes the number 7 of Chris Davis.
Right now, JR seeing what he loves to see is Kenny Kibbe and James Tiernan racing side by side.
I'm almost willing to say at this point, the outside line seems to be the better line. I've seen a lot of passes being made up high by just pinching that driver down and not letting him get a good exit on the corner.
Yeah, they're able to get that drive off on the high side because when they're pinching that guy down on the bottom, it creates that car looser on the bottom, so they're having to lift a little bit more so they can carry the momentum on the high side.
A little contact in the wall for Shepard, just minor paint scratches as crew will be mad at him for. As we can see that battle behind, contact between Kibbe and Tiernan. Nice save from Tiernan, quick hands as he keeps that car under him but has to slot back into third.
Got a couple side-by-side battles going on behind them guys.
Yep, Matt Chinaski looking to overtake Nathan Guilford for 7th. And further back, you have Joe Segala. Who's he battling with the boss man? Lowell Jewell in the black number 20. Guilford still holding off Chinaski as of yet. That outside line, that momentum on exits is too much to battle with. As you can see it. Chinaski is inching ahead, but not like you'd expect to see on a short track. Further back, you see Brian Johnson, Bruce Pearson. Pearson must have run into trouble. He is down 10 spots from where he started. He must have ran into a problem and is trying to recover.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on over there with Bruce tonight, but he's not running like he normally does.
And if I had to take a guess, I'd say when the camera wasn't looking, he went sideways, recovered, and kept running, but lost all the spots.
Looks like we're all single file again, front to back in this race.
Yeah, all single filed out. Coming down the backstretch, you can see here, Lowell Jewell and Joe Segala have caught up to Matt Chinaski and Nathan Guilford. Chinaski did successfully move up to 7th spot, up 6 spots from where he started. Matt Chinaski and Chris Davis are tied right now for the big movers. They're both up 6 spots.
Looks like Kibbe's trying to put pressure on JR, but every time he goes to try to make a move, Tiernan sticks his nose in there, so Kenny has to back off and protect his spot.
Let's see, this would be the opportune time for Tiernan to just settle in and let Kibbe go to work. Every time he prevents Kibbe from going after JR, he's just making it harder for himself to move forward. So I would say as we're close to the halfway point, Tiernan should settle in and let Kibbe do his job. Open that hole for him.
Yeah, some of these tracks, or a lot of our short tracks, are that type of thing where a lot of times if you're just patient behind a guy and wait for them to open the hole, then you follow them through and then deal with them later on.
Well, yeah, it's 2 birds, 1 stone. You open the hole on J.R. Shepard so you can move up, and you also have used up some of Kibbe's tires in doing it and saved your own in the process. Alright, the entire field is strung out right now. No real battles to speak of. Makes our job so much easier.
Looks like a nice sunny day here at the track.
Yeah, let's go see what the consolation stand has. Let's see, Shepard, Kibbe, Tiernan, Menda, and Davis, your top 5. Great run from Chris Davis as he's closing in on Menda, looking to take away 4th spot. The closest battle on track right now is Menda and Davis.
You know, Amanda earlier talking about that he was worried about running off that right rear. I think he may be getting to that point.
Yeah, he is definitely not keeping up the leaders like he was in the first half. You can see just how much counter steer Chris Davis is putting into that wheel to keep himself straight in the corners, meaning his right rear isn't doing him any favors at the moment.
For those out there that don't know, because I know there are some newer race watchers, when we're talking about the right rear going away, that's because the car is loose, which means the back of the car wants to slide around, so you're heating up that right rear tire so you lose grip. Opposite happens if the car is pushing. The right front gets hot, and so the car continues to get harder and harder to turn. So you're best off try to run smooth laps, keep one tire from getting hotter over the other is about your best option.
And I give you Exhibit A. You'll see Chris Davis's back end keep kicking out in turn 3 as he is overheating that tire, and it makes your rear just want to swing out to the right. As you can see right there, he is what we call dirt tracking it. Thought it was perfect time. While you were explaining what it is to lose your right rear, you can actually see smoke coming off of Davis's right rear as there he kicks that rear end out again.
Yeah, once it gets hot, if you continue to drive on it, it just gets worse and worse. You need to lift off, take it a little easier, let that rubber cool down. But when you're in these short races, you can't afford to do that.
Now the driver seems to have been abusing his tires early on as Todd Liston falling back. He's back 3 spots, looking to lose another one to Lowell Jewell right now. He is definitely off his pace from when the race started, significantly.
Yeah, I briefly talked about Lowell Jewell there. He's just running a nice, smooth, quiet race, as his normal style is, and then he just finds himself slowly working his way towards the front.
Yeah, last season Lowell had a consistent top 10 finish in almost every race he ran. He was having a good season all around. Here comes Joe Segala, moving up to 9th. He is now up 5 spots once he clears around Todd.
Not making contact.
Yeah, Joe's the normal Joe, style of racing. He's patient, he's calculating. The key is no one else is being crazy around him, and that's doing him favors. As we see Todd Liston get really, really loose in the corner as the caution flag comes out. Looks like Ed Reynolds ran into some trouble. There's Reynolds in the 58 Haviland machine. Lost it all on his own. Coming out of turn 2. I'm sorry, turn 4.
Yeah, that's a product of that rear getting hot, and you're getting later in a green flag run, and the car just wants to get looser and looser, and I think that's what happened there to him.
I also noticed that Reynolds had some significant left front damage. That might have been affecting his steering as well, making it that much trickier for him to get around the track. Alright, second verse, same as the first. J.R. Shepard in your lead, Kenny Kibbe second, James Tiernan in third. These three have not moved an inch since the start, other than Kenny Kibbe and James Tiernan swapping positions.
If I'm looking at this right, we got about 4 minutes remaining.
Unfortunately, yes, you are looking at this right. It looks like we are going to come down to time again. That's unfortunate. We'll be 16 laps to go when the green flag comes out. All right, that long green flag run, it was so much fun to watch. I totally wasn't watching the time. And yeah, we are, as of right now, we have 6 minutes remaining as JR crosses that line.
Yeah, we got a couple more laps of pacing still. Caution lights are still on the car, so this very well could be the last green flag we see.
Which means for Kibbe and Tiernan, if they're watching the clock, it is go time. It's an hour or nothing. If you want that lead, you got to give it everything you have left. There's no more saving for a 50-lap run. It's use up what you got before the clock runs out. All right, pace car lights are off. Cars double back up. J.R. Shepard and Kenny Kibbe on the front row.
I think we're going to see a wild restart here because everybody knows that it's now or never. You got to go with the time limit.
4.5 minutes as they get to the line. And J.R. Shepard in command of the field. Good serve from Shepard as he clears out ahead of Kibbe. Kibbe trying to get back to him, but I don't think he's going to have anything for him. James Tiernan trying to keep that door closed so Kibbe can't come down. Kibbe holds on to second for the time being, but Tiernan is looking to the inside, might have a nose in there, but not able to hold it. And Jason Menda and Chris Davis side by side with Davis with the advantage. Further back, you can see Matt Chanowski trying to battle back from the outside of Nathan Guilford. That's Todd Liston still getting really loose back there, holding on to 8th place ahead of Lowell Jewell and Joe Sagala.
Yeah, these guys are still battling for 4th here. Well, they were. Now they're separated there.
They were just waiting for you to mention it. And just like that, Menda gave up the ghost, slotted back into 4th place, or 5th place, as James Tiernan got to the inside of Kenny Kibbe. Tiernan has a strong hold on 2nd place. I don't think Kibbe has anything for him as he goes a little high, getting loose in that corner. Now Kibbe has a choice. Do you want to block off Chris Davis and try to hold on to a podium? Or do you want to risk it all and try to get your 2nd place back from the outside? Looks like Kenny Kibbe is choosing the latter, as here comes Chris Davis. Kibbe aggressively shut the door on Davis there. That could have been a problem. Luckily, Davis was able to lift out of that situation as Kibbe holds on to his podium.
Yeah, I think Kibbe wanted to race Tiernan longer, but he seen Davis coming, and he knew if he stayed out there longer, then Davis would take that spot and he'd lose another one. So better off just to get back in the hole quick.
All right, and since he fell back to 5th, Menda is not keeping pace with Chris Davis. I think it's another situation of no tire left to fight with, as Matt Chanowski has caught up to him. Rounding out your top 10 right now is John Wilson. Nice recovery for Wilson. He was back to 14th at one point. He's back inside the top 10. And looking to take away 9th.
I think we are just about to wrap this up here on time.
We have 2 minutes at the mark. J.R. Shepard still a strong hold of the lead. 0.8 of a second ahead of Tiernan.
Yeah, unfortunately at this point, JR is smooth as always. I just don't think Tiernan has enough time to catch him, and we don't have time to have another caution.
If this stays green, we might actually finish with 50 laps. It's going to be really, really close. So, JR, if you're listening, just put the foot down, man. We got to go. Entire field is single file back out. Davis has fallen off of Kibbe's bumper and now back under pressure from Menda. As you can see, Davis heated those tires up. You see smoke coming off his right rear. Those tires are not happy with him, with Kibbe looking to take away 2nd place from the outside of Tiernan. But I don't think he has enough tire left to do it either. Just under 1 minute remaining. 4 laps to go. Not going to make it on time. We're going to be like a lap or 2 short.
Menda's going under Davis again.
Yep, Menda went low. Looks like a little help there from Chanowski pushing him through. That will knock Davis all the way back to 6th place when that battle concedes. Oh, as there's a little contact, now a 3-wide situation. No driver willing to give up a spot as Chanowski goes low under Menda.
What a battle for 4th there.
And just like that, Chanowski went from 6th to 4th, up 9 spots, our big mover of the night. That was some good driving. And the 30 minutes has elapsed. Let's see if the checker flag comes out this time by, or it is a checker flag this time. J.R. Shepard comes across the line 1 lap short as we start lap 49 to take the checker flag. I guess 2 laps short. We had 1 caution too many, and we would have had a full race.
Yeah, man, I hate to see that end that way. But it is what it is. It's an even playing field. Everybody knows the consequence.
Yeah, never a good feeling, but for the drivers who came out in the podium, a win is a win. And with that, we're going to take a quick break, let timing scoring get caught up, and we'll be right back. Don't go far. And welcome back. J.R. Shepard with Different Path Motorsports took the checker flag under time, 2 laps short of a full 50-lap feature. Good run from J.R. Led every single lap. Following him, James Tiernan came home in second, Kenny Kibbe in third. Those 2 drivers battled each other the entire time, never quite getting up to J.R. Shepard. Machinowski and Jason Menda round out your top 5. Machinowski was the big mover of the night, up 9 spots from where he started. The next closest to that was 5 spots from Chris Davis and Lowell Jewell. Chris Davis, as we just mentioned, came home in 6th, Lowell Jewell in 7th. John Wilson came home in 8th. Great recovery from John. He was back far in the field at one point, and he made his way back up to 8th. Bruce Pearson in 9th after some trouble, and Todd Lisson held on to a 10th with no tires left to speak of. 11th place was Joe Segala. A nice clean run from Joe. I don't think he made contact with anyone the entire night. Great run from Joe. Bobby Hayes came home in 12th, Chris Hazlip in 13th, Steve Hilbert 14th, Nathan Guilford in 15th. Tom Hilbert came home 16th. Now Brian Johnson, 1 lap down, came home in 17th. Ed Reynolds, some trouble, 2 laps down, came home in 18th. And Jeffrey Harden, after taking some hard front-end damage, 19th as 16 laps down. And with that, Matt, I believe you've caught up with our leader, or our race winner, I should say, J.R. Shepard.
Hey, JR, welcome to the winner's circle. I know you've never been here before.
Yeah, it's new for sure, but yeah, I don't know, just lucky on the qualifying to be able to put down some decent laps. It's not an advantage to qualify. Got to start in the back on the heats, but the heats kind of worked out to where I could get back up there and get that pole position. And yeah, for the most part, this is my favorite car because it's the car that drives the loosest out there. It's the freest handling car, and just really enjoy that, especially at a track that's very abrasive.
Now you had a lot of restarts there with Kenny and James right there on either side of you, and they were swapping positions on those restarts. Were you just trying to get a good restart for yourself there to set yourself up for the next corner? Were you kind of trying something sneaky depending on who was around you, or what was your plans on the restarts?
I was just trying to get a decent restart. These cars are hard to shift, so wasn't trying to do anything much different. I think Kenny kind of caught on. I was pretty much restarting in the same spot every time, and I think he could see that. But yeah, these cars are tricky to shift, so just trying to get up into 4th gear and then make sure that I could clear myself off of 2. that was the biggest thing. And then once you've got the lead, you really have to conserve your rear tires in these things because they're free. So got to make sure you don't spin the tires, and just trying to manage that while being in the lead. And that's not easy to do because the guys behind you are trying to go hard.
Well, congratulations on another win, JR, and always impressive to watch how smooth you are in every car, week in, week out. So congratulations, and anyone you want to thank today?
No, thanks, Matt. And just thanks to the Bootleg Racing League for giving us all a place to race. It's a lot of fun each and every week, for sure. And my team, Different Path Motorsports, and thank you to what you guys are doing up in the BRL TV broadcast booth. It's cool you guys are doing these races.
Well, thanks, JR. We'll see you next week, or next race.
Yep, thank you, Matt.
All right, that was J.R. Shepard, Different Path Motorsports, and now it looks like James Tiernan is not available to interview, so I will bring up our third place finisher, Kenny Kibbe, Nocturnal Gaming. Kenny, you got a copy?
Yeah, gotcha. Hey, it's recently Nocturnal Sim Racing, so let's make that clear.
Oh, we made it more specific. It's not gaming, it's sim racing, folks. Don't forget it. All right, Kenny, you finished right where you started, third place. You and Tiernan kept swapping positions. Was there anything you could have done to get away from him, or were you too concerned with conserving?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't conserving a whole lot. It's tough to get away in these street stocks. You know, it's like if you do a perfect lap, you might be able to gain a little bit on somebody, but if you make a mistake, then they will gain a lot on you. And that seemed to be the case. I mean, I stretched out over Tiernan a couple times, but I was also really working over JR at one point and started to kind of burn my stuff up, and then I started making mistakes, and I brought Tiernan back to me, and of course we had multiple restarts, which, you know, bunched us all back together again. So I just made a mistake of wearing out my rear tires too much, and that kind of made me pay at the end.
All right, now, other than James Tiernan, what was your biggest obstacle tonight going into the feature?
Well, I mean, the way that the format is now, you know, you're going to get, most of the time, you're going to get the fast guys, you know, going up through the field, through the heats, and then starting up front in the feature. And that means your toughest competition is going to be starting up front, right near you all the time. And that makes it tough right from the get-go, because you're forced to run the pace of JR and James and all them guys. So that makes it difficult. Makes it so you can't afford to make any mistakes, and you have to go all out right from the get-go. And sometimes that leads to mistakes. And I'm still kind of getting wrapped back around these street stocks. I haven't run them in a while, other than sporadically. So tonight was just kind of a practice and learning.
That's actually interesting. So you're saying you'd prefer to actually fight your way through traffic with the 15-car invert than run all out from the get-go with all the fast guys right up front.
Yeah, I mean, at least an invert of some sort. Maybe not 15, but it's just in a way it makes it so you can kind of take advantage of the traffic a little, and some of the other guys that are around you might get caught up in it. But that can go both ways. You know, there would be weeks where I could lose spots on a start too. It's kind of a chance you take. But regardless, when you're in traffic at the beginning, your pace doesn't have to be insanely fast to make progress. It just needs to be smooth and calculating. Whereas if you're starting right up front, you gotta go for it right from the get-go. So it's just a different type of mentality.
Oh, I like that. We're getting a peek into the mind of Kenny Kibbe. All right, Kenny, I mean, this is a strong run. You stayed up in the front the whole time. You and Tiernan were battling pretty hard. I don't think there was any contact between you guys, so good running all around. Who do you have to thank for this podium finish?
Yeah, just like to thank everybody at the Bootleg Racing League. We had a good, 19-car field or so tonight in this series, so that's good to see. Excited for the late models in a little bit, so everybody tune into that. Thanks to you guys for broadcasting, and congratulations to JR and James on the good runs, and thanks to everybody who's on board watching me on Twitch.
Yep, watching them over at Nocturnal Sim Racing.
Yes,
don't get that confused.
_Kibbs is the new Twitch name, so and I have to try to get used to that.
You had to change it on the car, because I'm looking at the old one.
Yeah, yep, I need to work on getting new paints and all that jazz, so that's still a work in progress, but We'll work on it.
All right, so you heard it here first. Kenny Kibbe is lazy and not updating his paints. All right, Kenny, a great run tonight, and we'll see you in the late models.
Yep, see you, Ryan.
That was Kenny Kibbe with Nocturnal Sim Racing. And with that, we're all wrapped up here, so we're going to bring this broadcast to a close. If you liked what you saw here tonight, well, you can catch us again next Friday. That'll be July 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern from the virtual USA Speedway. Friday will kick off the Street Stock Series going into the third round of Season 27. And after that, on Saturday the 15th, immediately afterward, you'll be kicking off the first round of the SK Modifieds here in the Sportsman Series. So you won't want to miss that one. Those mods always put on a good show. Everything you've seen and heard here tonight was made possible by the Skidder Creek Motorsports Group, home to the Bootleg Racing League, the GT Racing League, Thunder Ridge Racing, the Virtual Grip Network, and more. For more information, visit them over at skiddercreek.com. This has been a production of BRL TV, a broadcasting service aimed at giving up-and-coming commentators and directors a place to get their feet wet in the world of sim race broadcasting. If you've ever wondered if you have what it takes to broadcast live races, this is your chance to get some experience without any pressure. If you're interested in getting in on the fun, visit bootlegracingleague.com to find out how. Now, from all of us here in the BRL TV crew, myself, Matt Hoos, Lowell Jewell, until next time, remember, life is a race, so go out there and make every lap count.